Prophet ﷺ came to perfect manners. And he also memorized the Quran from a young age. So these mothers, they had something in common. You know, a lot of them were lived a life of simplicity rather than luxury. And they were so blessed in the same light, not with riches of the dunya, but riches of the akhirah. I mean, anybody would feel that they are the richest person in the world if their child reached the level or the status of one of these great imams. Their life would be fulfilled. Like, they would be so happy, right? And so for us, Ramadan should be the same in our homes. It should be filled with the richness of good deeds, of seeking the barakah and the blessings of Ramadan, not just about the materialistic side to Ramadan, which I know nowadays is really hard. I mean, so these mothers, you know, they didn't fill their homes with all the pretty lamps from Home Goods. They filled them with good deeds and ilm, right? I'm sure you guys all saw the Home Goods reel about all the Home Goods in the East Coast and how they have all these beautiful floral lanterns. I mean, so sometimes you kind of have to shift the focus a little bit. And we talked about shifting that focus earlier today, right? Shifting our mindset and the way that we look at Ramadan and the way that we want to interact with the month. So a few things that we can do with our children to hype up the month. So talk to your kids about Ramadan right now, right? Include your kids in everything that you do when it comes to preparing for Ramadan. Dusting off the pretty plates, washing the prayer rugs, perfuming the prayer rugs. You know, sit as a family and everybody, including the parents, come up with one goal that they want to achieve in the month. Together, as a family. You know, together we're stronger, what did I say? Stronger together, right? So showing our kids that we also are slaves in the month of Ramadan, that we also are trying to achieve the most blessings that we can, will set an example for our children to do the same. Number 2 is to fulfill the sunnah of searching for the Ramadan moon. This is overlooked, but it's a fun sunnah. You just have to walk outside your house, be like, let's look for the moon. Some people go to more elevated areas of their city and look for the moon. But it's something that you should do. It's a sunnah, and so it's a good deed. And for kids, they love to be outside and mess around, so it's fun for them too. You don't have to make it fancy. I feel like in our times right now, we overcomplicate things, and then we feel overwhelmed, and we just don't do it. Just go outside. You don't have to take snacks or food. You're stepping out for like 5-10 minutes around Maghrib time. It's very simple. Number 3, explain why Ramadan is a blessed month. Explain that to your kids. And really actually be passionate about it yourself. Teach your kids that the month is so special that Allah changes and shifts the entire universe when Ramadan comes. Think about it. Okay, what happens when the month of Ramadan comes? The shaitan are chained. The gates of Jahannam are closed. The gates of Jannah are opened. Allah forgives people every night of their sins and grants them Jannah every single night. What other time has this kind of impact in our life, right? Really show them, like, look at all of the things in the world and around us that Allah is changing just for this month. That's how important it is. Number 4, help kids understand really difficult or kind of like out-of-the-box concepts through literature. Okay, because like for younger kids specifically, like understanding Laylatul Qadr and, you know, about the shayateen being chained up might be kind of difficult to understand. And we are so blessed to be in 2025. Every year, more and more Ramadan books are published. So we have no excuse to not bring those resources that Allah has provided us into our home. Number 5, Increase good deeds. This is really easy to do. Super simple. If you have competitive kids, make it a competition in the home. You know, even between the parents. We're not excluded. Okay, we're not excluded, guys. All the moms are like looking at me like, yeah, right, I'm not doing that. So increasing good deeds, and they have like daily deeds that kids can do in Ramadan. Just one good deed a day, even if it's just setting the table with dates, you know, because feeding a fasting person is important. For the older kids, they could do things like wrapping Eid gifts for orphans. They could serve food or volunteer at the masjid for iftars. They can vacuum the masjid after Tarawih or on the weekends. There's so many things for us to do. And I want to encourage Quran competitions because it's very goal-oriented. Those kids who have that kind of mindset and mentality, it's really great for them. And it encourages them to interact with the Quran with a purpose. Because when you tell a kid like, oh yeah, read Quran every day, they're gonna be like, okay, mom, okay, you know? But if you tell them to memorize the surah, it's gonna be a competition, and you know, you get a prize, and they're like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it for that electric scooter. I mean, whatever it is. Just get them to the end goal of reading Quran every day. Make your kids amongst those who will be shaded on the day of judgment by falling in love with the masjid. Just bring them to the masjid. Doesn't matter if you don't get to pray, right? We sacrifice ourselves for our kids all the time. Allow them the opportunity to fall in love with the masjid. Allow them the opportunity to socialize with other children in the masjid and to build bonds with these kids. Because when they have friends in the masjid, guess what? They're gonna actually wanna go. When I tell my kids we're going to the masjid, who's gonna be there? Like, it doesn't matter, just get in the car, you know, just get in the car, right? But allow them the opportunity to build bonds with kids that also frequent the masjid. Number 7, breaking fast together and doing acts of ibadah together. This is so important. You cannot be a parent who doesn't walk the walk. Your children will never do all that you want them to do if they don't see you doing them, right? Break fast together, even if your kids are not fasting. If you have older girls, make them sit at the table and break fast with you. If they're teenagers, force them, you know, like take their phones away. I see you guys. Take their phones away, whatever it is. Get them to the table and break fast together. Right? It's so important. Pray Maghrib together, read Quran together, whatever it is, do it together and play lots of Quran in the car. Make it known that this month is different. It is different. We treat it different. We love it more. We try harder. Show them your effort. And make Eid really, 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 really big. Make it huge. Like, buy the biggest letter balloons you can, spell out Eid, whatever it is that you guys do, make it as big as you possibly can. Make them love the deen. Make it fun for them. And teach them the sunnahs of Eid, right? Have them pick out their dress. Have them, you know, for the girls, they're matching hijabs and their shoes, and like have them lay out their clothes the day before. Show them all of the gifts. Allow them to buy gifts for their parents, their siblings, their grandparents. Allow them to become a part of the process, you know, and giving gifts is a sunnah anyways. Play the takbirat in the morning at home, in the car on the way. Sing it together, you know, recite it, chant it together, whatever you want to call it. Participate with them, right? It's about participating with them. And the most important thing, which I kind of already mentioned, is to really, really just be an example for them. Is to just emulate and show your love through your actions. And this goes for inside of Ramadan as well as outside of Ramadan, right? Because I kind of alluded to this, but let me ask, okay, for the kids that were forced to be in this lecture, just kidding. I know you guys want to learn, mashallah, mashallah. Let me ask you guys, What is your most fondest memory of Ramadan? Anybody? I'm going to call whoever's name I know. No? Nobody wants to? No. Okay, adults. Adults. What is your most fondest memory of Ramadan growing up? Yes. Ramadan basket. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, what else? Yes.
My mom would make parathas in the morning for sehri.
Okay.
She would always make us up for that, so I think that's my fondest memory. As an adult, I don't make it for my kids, but I think it's very special.
Okay, so her mom would make parathas for suhoor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, yes. Community iftars. Yes. Yes, the whole family sitting together making dua together. Yes, in the leopard sweater. Baking sweets. I love that. I love these traditions, mashallah. It's so, I want to just mention one thing. All of those scholars that we talked about, when they mentioned their mothers, it was always, she was my first teacher. She taught me the most. She did this for me. Right? This is what children remember. They don't remember the life of poverty. They don't remember, the struggles. They remember the moments in which you sit with your children and you make a memory with them. Right? And memories happen through repetition. Right? She would always make paratha every suhoor, right? Ramadan basket, you get it every Ramadan, right? It's a tradition. It's something that's done consistently. So 20 years from now, when our kids, are over here in the Yorba Linda Illuma Con, and they get asked the same question, what are they going to say about Ramadan in the home that they grew up in? What are they going to say about their childhood? Are they going to talk about, the soccer life that they lived, or are they going to talk about the halaqah that they attended? Are they going to talk about, family seerah classes at home, like every Friday night after Jummah, or every day or every week after Jummah? Or are they going to talk about, their favorite movies and video games? What are our children going to remember in 20 years? What consistent things are we doing in our home to build a nurturing Islamic environment for our kids? One that is long lasting into adulthood, one that will carry them into parenthood, right? What are we doing for our kids at home? So I'm going to go ahead and end there. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. آمين. جزاك الله خير.
All right, Jazakallah khair, Ustada Alia and Sheikha Aisha. We will now open up the floor for questions. So just pop your hand up and I'll come find you. Got one right there. And then hold the mic close to your mouth.
My question is, sister, about the sahur. Children these days and many adults also, in the morning they say they are fasting, but they have not got up for sahur. They just forego the sahur and they said they are fasting. Isn't sahur important part of Ramzan? Or you can do without sahur and then you're still fasting. The fast will be, will hold good.
Testing. Okay. Bismillah, barakallahu feekum. So if I heard your question correctly, so when it comes to the suhoor, it's not a requirement for the fast to be valid, it is a sunnah and a highly encouraged sunnah. The Prophet ﷺ himself would do it, and he would also say that Allah has placed barakah in the suhoor meal as well. So we should try our best to encourage our children to do it, make it a habit, make it a tradition to maybe have special items prepared and whatnot. But if our children are younger than, they haven't hit the age of puberty yet and fasting is not a requirement for them, then, maybe the days that they miss, they can skip whatever works for the family. But if our children are older, they have reached the age of puberty, fasting is, required for them, then we really have to try our best to get them to have that suhoor if it'll impact the rest of their day. But in general, it's not a requirement for the fast to be valid. So if they miss it, if they don't get a chance to, have their suhoor, they should still fast, and the fast will be valid.
Any other questions? All right, last call. Going once, twice. All right, well, if you do have any other questions, I believe you guys will be sticking around for a little bit so we can catch you after. If you have not had, we're ending this session just a smidge early. Isha Namaz is going to be at 8 o'clock. No, that's not right. 7:30, sorry. It'll be at 7:30, so between now and then, you guys have time to refresh your wudu's. We also have a full bazaar still in swing outside. Grab some dinner. And then, inshallah, we'll begin our last sessions around 8 o'clock. So you should have a little more time. All right, Jazakallah khair. Thank you for coming. One more big round of applause for our speakers.